guys, it's Apexbulletdemon here, bringing you a bit of War Z, and this is actually a fresh character that I've spawned in ready for this video, because what I actually plan to do in this video is give you the basic survival tips for when you first start playing this game. Now, as you can see, I've actually spawned in just south of a place called Frosty Pines Resort Town. We're going to travel there. It's always good to travel to the nearest place that you spawn to, because it's the quickest way of finding the items that you will need to survive. So we'll start travelling. I do apologise, this is always a long-winded process travelling to places in this game. Again, I will remind people I can only record this game in low. My unit is a work in progress, and until I get the better graphics card that I'm looking at getting, I won't be able to record at any higher settings than this. So that's the reason for these slightly poor graphics that you might see in comparison to other videos on this game. But yeah, we're going to travel to Frosty Pines Resort Town. Now obviously when you first spawn a character in, you will come standardly equipped with a flashlight, bandages, a can of soda and granola bar. Now of course can of soda is your water source and your food is your granola bar. Now you need to try and get something better than that immediately, because they are not very good items. You also need to try and get some more bandages, as one does not do a whole great deal. Now with the flashlight, you can now turn the flashlight on and off using the F key. And it is always a good idea to keep the flashlight turned off unless you really need the light in a dark environment. Another thing with the flashlight is it's a very poor melee weapon. It does take a lot of hits. It's not worth taking on 4 or 5 zombies at once with a flashlight. You will die. It's always the best idea to go 1 or 2 zombies at a time with the flashlight. Now as you can see, Frosty Pine is in the distance there. I'll continue the video when we get there for you guys. Okay, welcome back guys. Now as you can see, we are at Frosty Pines and you can see the first few buildings in front of us. Now when searching for loot, you always want to check the large buildings such as this police station, post offices, markets, supermarkets and diners. Now this Frosty Pines Resort Town actually has a police station, a fire station, which is always another good place to check. It has a diner and a post office with a small market, and there is a large resort house at the back. So we're just going to check out the police station and see what we can gather. Now when gathering your loot, you always want to look first things first on a fresh character for a improved melee weapon such as a hammer, and then you can start to look for weapons such as, you know, primary guns, M16s and so on. Now there's some bandages stuck in a police car there, a bit of a strange spawn, but that gives us another lot of bandages to help healing. Always good to check the police cars. Now the other thing you need to always remember when looting is remember to be listening out for other footsteps, other players, anybody around. There's always a risk of somebody else being around and killing you. You know, this game, a lot of people have a shoot on sight attitude to the game, so it's always very dangerous when there's other people around, and I wouldn't really recommend looting alone when you know for sure there's other people around. Come out of the police station and there's a fire station in front of us, so we're just going to check that out next. Now this Humvee here has loot on it, so that's also worth picking up depending on what that is. As you can see here, some antibiotics for healing, which are a very good healing item, and some more on the road here. That's the instant opener. We won't take that for now, as we need to try and get a larger bag at some point to carry more items. And this green helmet here is not a necessity. They do weigh absolutely nothing, so we will pick that up. And as you can see now in third person, we do come equipped with a green helmet. To access third person, you need to press C for any guys that are completely new to the game. As you can see, Frosty Pines is not overwhelmed with zombies at this point, so it's always be careful and try to learn how many zombies are on average in a place, that you know if a place has had someone run through recently, to avoid running into trouble. Chocolate bar on that table we won't take. They're not amazingly useful piece of food source. There is another player over by the post office, as you can see. This player may choose to kill us, and they have chosen to kill us, so that's what can happen in the game. I'm just going to ask them why they chose to kill us there. We were completely unarmed. But yeah, that can sometimes happen, and you do need to avoid that. And I will bring you guys another video shortly. Welcome back, guys. Now, as you can see, we have had to create a fresh new character again, and this time we've spawned north of NORAD military base. Now, I wouldn't recommend going there as a first starter. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to head to our right. If I zoom in the map for you guys, there's a town called Smallville. Now, it is risky, but it is much safer for finding the items we need to survive. So I will travel to Smallville for you guys, and I will resume the video when we have got a lot closer to Smallville, as it will be quite a long-winded journey, and I'm sure you guys don't want to see me walking for 5 or 6 minutes straight with not much else going on. So as I say, when we get nearer to our destination, I will carry this video on for you guys. See you soon. Okay, welcome back again, guys, for this final part of the basic survival tips on the War Z for a fresh character / new player. Now, as you can see, we have reached Smallville, and this is basically the town itself, known as Smallville. Now, this town has a church that is worth searching for loot. It has a police station, it has a medic station, and a post office that I can remember off the top of my head. So they're all the main places worth checking for the loot, but also any open access houses, anything like that is worth checking for any kind of loot that we may need. As you can see, we're coming up on I believe this is, the western entrance to the town, straight from where we spawn north of NORAD military base. As we come through here, to get our bearings a little bit, we are basically coming first towards the small market on our left and the medic station on our right. They will be our first two places that we check for the loot we need. Now, the first things we need to try and find are an improved melee weapon such as a hammer or a bat, and a larger pack if possible. Now, when fighting zombies, it is always a good idea to constantly keep your distance, aim for the head all the time, as everybody knows. And the flashlight is not fantastically effective at killing the zombies, but you will eventually kill them. Like that, that's 3 zombies killed. Now, that's sometimes a little bit too much for a new player, so I wouldn't recommend that being completely new to the game, but sometimes it is unavoidable. And I don't recommend sprinting through a place like this at all unless you do want to be killed by 10 plus zombies. So take the zombies one at a time, and that way you can just sort of pummel him. Now, I will show the third person combat. This is third person by pressing C. You have your crosshair there, and you need to keep that, of course, aimed roughly at the head for you guys that enjoy third person. Back to first person, as you can see here, SMG-20 ammo. Now, we don't have a gun for that, and we don't have a large pack, so that we can't take. But a juice is a very good resource for food and water, so we'll grab that. And on the way in, I believe there was a 9mm mag, yep, but again, we don't have a weapon for that, so we'll have to leave that for now. Now, up here is a helmet that we can't reach, but painkillers and bandages are definitely good to take. So we'll grab all of that. And the chocolate bar is not much use to us, so we'll leave that behind. Take out any straggling zombies again. Again, a quick reminder to always be listening out for footsteps of other players and keep your eyes open. As you saw earlier in the video, we were killed by another player. It's always something to be wary of. Now, a lot of people recommend crouching, but personally I don't tend to crouch much, as it just slows you down. You know, this way you can most of the time get in and out of places relatively quickly without any trouble. As with an improved melee weapon, it will be a lot faster process than what we have at the moment. So antibiotics in this medic station, well worth taking, along with the painkillers and the bandages. Carry on searching this building. A CO1 vaccine. Now, that's a necessity because of infection. It's been recently brought in. That will cure up to 15% of an infection, so that's good to remember for you guys. If you ever do get infected, it will appear in between your food and water bars to the bottom left corner where your food and water bars are, of course displayed along with your health, it will appear with a biohazard symbol and a percentage number, and that will constantly rise the longer you're infected, and when 100% hits you do die. As you can see, a player has put a riot shield in the post office, so always be wary of this sort of thing. Somebody has been using the post office recently. We actually can't get access to that at all because of those 2 riot shields. So with those 2 zombies killed, we can attempt to get in, but I don't think we're going to be able to. Oh, we are. Right, coconut water is an incredibly valuable source, perhaps the most valuable. Water 375 milliliter is useful to have. Now we are just going to use the can of soda and the granola bar, and what we're going to do is then pick up the water 375 milliliter from that. A sandbag barricade's been placed here as well. Take the painkillers, and the med pack is a hugely important resource. Some more painkillers. So a lot of medical supplies we've collected here. Always good to have. The Sega 10 ammo is no use to us at the moment, nor our bag of chips. Very low grade food item. Now we are just going to finish by checking the police station. We're going to leave the church this time, and we're just going to check these police cars in the police station, and that will be the end of this particular video. But as I say, this is a basic survival tips. Hopefully this helps you new players and new spawns, and hopefully you guys enjoy the game as much as I do. I'll be bringing a lot more War Z videos. It's going to be my main game, and as you can see, we have just found an improved melee weapon, the tactical knife, which means we can drop the flashlight and use the tactical knife. Now sometimes it's worth keeping a flashlight for new players. For the dark you need the light, but for me I am adjusted to travelling in the dark without a flashlight, so it's all player preference that, but that tactical knife was all we have found. Now I will advise on how to leave a game safely without spawning back into trouble. You need to find an area in a tree line somewhere which players aren't really going to come looking for you. So we're just going to sprint away from these zombies. There's plenty of them in this barn area. And we're going to head straight up the hill on the other side of town. And we'll be able to safely disconnect without the worry of a player killing us. So when we spawn back in for another video next time, we should not have any players around us. So I hope you guys, enjoyed the video and you found it, valuable and it's helped you out. If you have, like, subscribe, comment, and as I say, I'll be bringing a lot more War Z for you guys. But that will do it for this episode, this survival basics for new characters and fresh spawns. So I will see you guys very soon, and I am Apexbulletdemon, and that's the end of this video.